Action.
Find a member of the MTA staff.
Get up. Get off, get off. Get up. Me? Go. Get off. You're gonna die if you stay here. Get up. What? Are you threatening us? Get up. Hey, give me that back. Hey, give me that back.
If Dakota Johnson actually possessed the precognition superpowers of her character in Sony's latest Spider-Man spin-off, she would have thrown the script of Madam Web in the bin and looked for another project. Madam Web is not a disappointment in the way other recent superhero movies have been, which have stumbled at the box office, underwhelmed critics, and hinted that the golden age of comic book adaptations is drawing to a close. Madam Web is an old-school, bona fide stinker. Just like the studio did with Jared Leto's weird Morbius.
If you're gonna run, do it now.
And will do later on this year with Kraven the Hunter, Sony has trawled through the archive of Marvel characters to find one worthy of a standalone origin story. For reasons known only to Sony, they opted for Madam Web, who in the comics is an elderly blind woman who makes up for being wheelchair-bound with psychic powers that include visions of the future and the ability to be in more than one place at a time. Look, it's not exactly laser vision or super strength, is it? But those are powers a fringe character can use to add value in collaboration with a brand name hero. But there's probably not much demand for septuagenarian supers, which explains why Sony cast Johnson in the role, playing Cassie Webb, a former foster kid who became a New York paramedic. In case you were wondering, she landed in the foster system after her scientist mum died in childbirth 30 years earlier, having ventured to the Amazon to find a rare species of spider. However, instead of finding the spider whose venom was said to give a mythical tribe their superhuman abilities, Cassie's mum found a bullet, shot by her supposed partner in the expedition, Ezekiel Sims, played by Tahir Rahim. Luckily, one of those spiders bit Mum, which kept her alive just long enough to pop out Cassie, and you guessed it, would give the kids superpowers decades later after a near-death experience.
It's honestly like the least weird thing that's happened.
Sims was also bitten by the spider, turning him into an evil spider dude. But the only thing truly bad about him is Rahim's one-dimensional performance. I'm talking top 5 worst villains of all time, ranking somewhere between Nuclear Man from Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Where is she? Far away from here and safe. Don't go in there, she's not in there.
And Cara Delevingne's Enchantress from Suicide Squad. Regardless, this is pretty standard comic book stuff, but the film's treatment of the material verges on nonsensical because Cassie's powers are laughably ill-defined and the plot is barely to the standard of a low-rent TV series with visual effects to match. Talking about TV, British director S.J. Clarkson has a strong small-screen background, but is clearly out of her depth here, and there were reports of significant issues around the project, including reshoots ordered by the studio to change the decade the film was set in. That's a very bad sign.
Oh, what the hell? She didn't see that coming? That's not how it works.
How else can you explain the tragic waste of a good cast, which also includes Adam Scott as Ben Parker, yes, that's Peter Parker's doomed uncle, as well as Sydney Sweeney from White Lotus, Celeste O'Connor, who we'll soon see in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and Isabella Merced from Dora and the Lost City of Gold. Talking about foreshadowing, those last 3 apparently will become Spider-Women in the future, suggesting Sony is dreaming of a live-action Spider-Verse. That's a mighty ambitious dream if Madam Web is anything to go by, which ultimately proves to be an origin installment for a story that the audience will have no interest hearing the rest of. Ryan Reynolds was right when his Deadpool character described himself as Marvel Jesus in the Super Bowl trailer drop, because there sure ain't any other obvious saviours of this genre right now. Madam Web gets 1.5 stars.
And cut.